Now we're checking out the tropics once again. Unfortunately, after being on high alert from Helene, so many people having to suffer through that devastating storm, we once again look to the Caribbean Sea, part of the Central American Gyre, this broad area of rotation down near Central America. This area of low pressure, it typically can spawn off something, of interest, and that's what we'll be watching. This happens at this part of hurricane season, usually in the beginning and towards the end, and we'll be watching again for maybe another area of tropical development. There has not been any big changes since yesterday. The National Hurricane Center is still highlighting this area for a 50% chance of tropical development over the next 7 days in the Caribbean and the Southern Gulf. So it looks like something could develop later this week, so Thursday, Friday, in the Southern Gulf of Mexico. But I can tell you right now, the models are backing down on anything aggressive. This is not going to be a Helene situation. It does not look like it will be a Helene situation at this point. Of course, things can still change. It's too far out to say exactly, but we'll just take it day by day. We'll be watching this very closely, so make sure you stay tuned. But I'll show you what I know now, and it's not a whole lot. I can just give you what we have in the next several days. It looks like we'll see 2 batches of moisture coming into the Gulf of Mexico. Here's the first one, very disorganized. This is on Wednesday. And here's the second one that has maybe a little bit better of a chance of developing into something. We get into Friday, and it's still kind of a disorganized area of tropical moisture just hanging out in the Gulf of Mexico. It looks like this second area, though, will be moving into the eastern Gulf, closer to Florida. But nothing really too significant when it comes to development at this point in time. So this is still roughly 1 week from now. That can, of course, change. But I think the upper pattern will be less supportive of anything blowing up into something major, which is something we definitely want to see. This is a good thing, but it's just something you have to take with a grain of salt because, this is still very far out in time. I showed this yesterday. I'll do this again just to show you the spin. So looking at kind of the big global models on what's to come going into Saturday. So almost 1 week from now, a little less than a week. The GFS, showing some good development, maybe, something weak closer to the Florida Peninsula on Saturday. The European model doesn't develop really anything. So this is a really large uncertainty sort of forecast now. I just wanted to kind of throw it out there. This is something we'll be watching. We'll be seeing how this can come together. But at this point, the models are not very aggressive on what is to come. And right now, the upper pattern looks like it will be directed around this high pressure that will be kind of parked out over Cuba. So anything that does form could kind of get pushed into the eastern Gulf towards Florida by next Friday, next Saturday, that time frame. Looking ahead to the next names on the list, Kirk and Leslie Milton, those are the next 3 names up on the hurricane season name list. And so we'll be watching again for some development in the Gulf later this week, Thursday, Friday into Saturday. We'll be seeing what can develop. It's too early to know any specific impacts, how much it will grow, where it will go. Just stay tuned for the updates like we've been mentioning in the next coming days as things become a little bit more clear with the forecast.